Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another TBR video where we pick my monthly TBR for August. I'll just throw it out there at the beginning of the video. I'm sorry if at some points you can hear the lawnmower outside. It is unfortunate, but this is when I was able to film this, and you know, we just gotta work with what we've got. So I'm sorry if that becomes loud intermittently throughout the video. Hopefully it won't. That being said, we're gonna jump right into my books. We're gonna start, like always, with my non-negotiables for the month. The first one's going to be the classic. I just pick in the order that I had them still on my shelves, and the lucky winner this month is Les Mis. This is gonna take me an eternity to get through. This is absolutely insane. It's 1,200 pages of classic literature. So this is definitely going to be an audiobook because I just don't think I can get through it any other way. I have seen the movie. I watched the one with Anne Hathaway in it, and who's the Wolverine in X-Men? Hugh Jackman. Loved it. Loved the movie so much. So I have high hopes for the book, but obviously watching the movie adaptation is going to be drastically different than reading in like the older writing style. So I at least know a little bit of the storyline, so that might make it a little bit more accessible as I try to read through this. But yeah, wish me luck for this one. Then my Mary Higgins Clark for the month is going to be Death Wears a Beauty Mask and Other Stories. So this is going to be one of her collections of short stories that are following Elvira and Willie, who are like an older couple that wins the lottery, and they just end up solving crimes in their spare time since they don't work as much since they won the lottery. Her short story collections aren't normally big hits with me, so we'll see whether or not I enjoy this. I bought this one before I realized that I wasn't a huge fan of her short story collections. Then actually we have another short story collection for my Agatha Christie for the month. It's going to be Double Sin and Other Stories. This features both Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple, which I appreciate. I don't know if they're going to be in the same story. I don't actually know if their stories ever cross over, but those are her two main characters that she has solving her mysteries. I do enjoy Agatha Christie's short stories. Yes, there's very limited space for her to develop a mystery, so like if you're looking at it from that lens, like it's not going to be the biggest world that she creates, but I do still enjoy the mystery of it all and how we come to the conclusions that we do. Like they all end up making a lot of sense, where I feel like a lot of mystery short stories just don't make sense, or they're just not interesting. So those are my three non-negotiables for the month. Then the other one that we do have is the book club that I'm a part of on Fable, and the poll isn't technically finished yet, but there is a very clear winner. I think it's going to win, and that's going to be In the Veins of the Drowning. This had actually better win because it took me about 5 minutes to figure out where it was on my bookshelf, even though I was staring at it for a decent amount of that time. So at this point, this needs to be the winner. I have been very excited to hear about this. I know a lot of booktubers have been raving about it this year. I believe that this is a siren? Yes. So the main female character is a siren that is hiding from a cruel kingdom that believes she's monstrous and a blood-hungry creature. So she's hiding from the king and his captain, who are viciously hunting her kind. But by keeping herself from the sea, her bloodlust is dulled and her black wings remain concealed beneath her skin. Wait, she has wings? I'm so confused. Why does Siren have wings? When a neighboring king comes to visit, Imogen can no longer hide. He knows precisely what she is, and he believes she can save their kingdoms from an even greater monster. But her power threatens to violently reveal itself, and the two form a blood bond that protects them both. They flee together, traversing waters teeming with the undead. So you get the pirate element in there too, which I'm going to love because I do love Pirates of the Caribbean, and I've been meaning to read more pirate-themed fantasies or just pirate-themed stories. So I'm very excited for this and have very high hopes. So now that we've gone through the 4 that I've already picked for the month, we're going to pick 6 more prompts. I normally try to put 10 books on my physical TBR, and then I do read outside of that because, well, I normally read more than 10 books, but also I just can't seem to help myself. So we're gonna pick 6 prompts. We're getting a little low in the prompt jar, which is kind of exciting. The first one is gonna be a book people hate. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay. I actually really didn't have to think about this one too hard because it popped into my head immediately. I have seen mostly hate reviews about this book, Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I was sent this, which is the only reason that I own it. I probably wouldn't have bought it if I had seen the negative reviews on my own. So we'll see about this one. I know that there's just like, I think the relationship feels questionable, and there's some scenes and like crazy things that are said that people just don't agree with. And it looks like it's a romance between two people that aren't really necessarily friends, All they have in common is a mutual physical attraction that can't be denied, but once their desires are out in the open, they realize they might have stumbled onto the perfect no-strings attachment. Of course, that's probably not going the way that they anticipate. It says hearts will get infiltrated, promises get broken, rules get shattered, and love gets ugly. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, haven't really seen rave reviews about this, which is why I've never picked it up after getting sent it, but this is kind of the perfect prompt for it. So we're going to get this out of the way one way or another this month, hopefully, ideally, assuming that I stick to my TBR. So first one, super easy. On to the second prompt. Let a random number generator pick. Okay, so this is going to be difficult because I have so many books and I'm not going to number off all of these books. That would be absolutely insane. So what I do think I'm going to do in this, I have a couple different categories of books. I have my immediate TBR list, recent books purchased. That was, I think, 2024. And then I have, after that, books purchased in 2024, 25, 26. So I have multiple categories in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that aren't like my classics, the ones that I already picked. So we're going to do a number generator 1 through 5, and then in that category, do a number generator for all the ones in there. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 5. Okay, it picked 3. I don't know why it didn't want to say that out loud. So 1, 2, 3, that's going to be some of my books that were purchased in 2024. On that list, there's 1 through, okay, don't judge me for the amount of books that I got in 2024. A lot of people were sending me them because I was part of like this gifting group on Facebook as well. 1 through 348. So, hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 348.
A random number between 1 and 348 is 208.
Alright. So we'll see if that one's one that I haven't read yet. If it is not. So it's going to be Vicious by L.J. Shen. Let's find that one. Okay, this was in my dark romance category. So I'm assuming this is either dark romance or like maybe just a little bit more dark than regular contemporary romances. It says, they say love and hate are the same feeling experienced under different circumstances, and it's true. The man who comes to Amelia LeBlanc in her dreams also haunts her in her nightmares. Baron Vicious Spencer is a brilliant lawyer, a skilled criminal, a beautiful liar, a bully and a savior, a monster and a liar, and since her mom was a live-in caretaker for his family's estate in high school, there's no escaping his wrath until she has no other choice. To Vicious, Amelia is completely off limits, a starving artist, his best friend's ex-girlfriend, pretty and evasive as a cherry blossom. She discovered his darkest secret and he made her pay the price, drove her out of town, hated and wanted her in equal measure. It should deter him from chasing her to New York a decade later, but it doesn't, so she still hates him. Big deal. She'll have to get used to him, because this time he's not going anywhere unless he's taking her with him. So yeah, definitely maybe like a little bit more of a bully romance aspect going on in this one. I think this was also gifted to me, so that's why I haven't really gravitated towards picking it up. But I have been wanting to get a little bit more into some of my dark romance books, so we'll see whether or not this is a good one. I've heard L.J. Shen is a really good author, so I'm excited about that one. Prompt number 3 out of 6. Hopefully I can get like a fantasy on here, because right now, I mean, I guess In the Veins of the Drowning is a fantasy. I shouldn't be complaining too much. A book with numbers in the title. Ooh. I think I have quite a few that could fit this category, so we're gonna go check those. It actually took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to find one. I went through this entire shelf. Couldn't find one. So the first one that I found is going to be 9 Liars, and I think that's a good one we're going to settle on because I really wanted to read this, and I also don't know how much harder it's going to be to continue trying to find one. So this one is actually set after the Truly Devious series. There's a trilogy, and then there's kind of like a follow-up standalone that the only real thing that you need the Truly Devious series for is like just understanding the characters in here. And then I think this is another one that's kind of separate from it, but they are actually back at school this time. It says that senior year at Ellingham Academy isn't going well for Stevie Bell. Somebody important to her is studying in London. I'm trying not to give away things from the other story. Her friends are obsessed with college applications. With the cold case of the century solved, Stevie is adrift. Relief comes when Stevie gets invited to London to join her friend for a study abroad, and his new friend introduces Stevie to a double murder cold case. In 1995, 9 friends from Cambridge University went to a country house and played a drunken game of hide and seek. 2 were found in the woodshed the next day, murdered with an axe. And now one of the remaining 7 realizes that she saw something she can't explain. Someone's lying about what happened in the woodshed. These are YA mysteries. I think if you like the Natural series that you would really like this series as well. I just love all the different characters in here. The mystery's done really well. It's not super YA feeling, but it's not also like as intense as an adult thriller is, and they're just a good time. I really enjoy them. So I'm excited to get to this one, especially because I think she is releasing another book in that series sometime this year, and I can finish this one and then hopefully just jump into that one. So prompt number 4 is going to be a book that's available on Kindle Unlimited. This is fantastic because I have entire Kindle Unlimited TBR that doesn't include books that I actually own physically. So you know what? We're going to take advantage of that, and we are going to look on that one and see which one specifically I would like. I think that I'm going to have to go with the City of Gods and Monsters series. This is the beginning of a not very long, but like 5 books that are really long, massive books. It's a 5-book fantasy series. I don't know too much about it. I think it's an urban fantasy. I've just heard really good things about it. Kind of want to go in blind. It is also on my 26 in 2026 TBR, and well, you know, we're kind of getting closer to the end of the year and I need to start making a little bit more progress on that. So we're going to read that series. Very, very excited to finally get into that. I was actually talking to a bookseller today about the series and she was kind of hyping it up. So I have high hopes for that one. That was another easy prompt. I feel like I haven't been like giving a lot of options, but some of these they're just really easy to pick which ones I want. So prompt number, I think we're on 5 now. A book from a little free library. Okay, this one might be a little bit harder to remember which ones I pulled from little free libraries, so I think I have options for this one though. So the 3 that I'm positive came from little free libraries. My most recent one is Ruin and Rising. This is the 3rd book in the Shadow and Bone series. Unfortunately, I've only read the first book, so I would have to read the second one to get to this one, so probably not in the running, but it was my most recent one that I knew was from a little free library. The only other 2 that I can with 100% certainty say I got from a little free library is The Marriage Game and Not the Girl You Marry. Both romances, obviously. I believe one of them is on my 26 and 2026 TBR. My boyfriend picked it for like his half of the TBR, so let's check that. Okay, so Not the Girl You Marry is on that priority TBR, so I think that it just makes the most sense to pick this one as the option. This one says that Jack Nolan is a gentleman, a journalist, and unlucky in love. His viral success has pigeonholed him as the how-to guide for a buzzy internet media company instead of covering hard-hitting politics. Fed up with his fluffy articles and the app-based dating scene as well, he strikes a deal with his boss to write a final piece de resistance, How to Lose a Girl. Easier said than done when the girl he meets is Hannah Mayfield, and he's not sure he wants her to dump him. Hannah's an extremely successful event planner who's focused on climbing the career ladder. Her firm is one of the most prestigious in the city, and she's determined to secure her next promotion. But Hannah has a bit of an image problem. She needs to show her boss that she has range, including planning dreaded romantic weddings. Enter Jack. He's the perfect man to date for a couple of weeks to prove to her boss that she's not scared of feelings. Before Jack and Hannah know it, their fake relationship starts to feel all too real, and neither of them can stand to lose the other. That's actually kind of fun. Like, it's an arranged dating, but the twist on why they're dating each other is a little bit different, a little bit unique, especially because, like, the end goal is for him to dump her as part of his image for the newspaper. That's a little bit weird. That's a weird concept. I'm not entirely sure why that's the story that you would pitch, but, like, that's fine. So, I'm excited for this one just because it's so different sounding. We'll see if it ends up pulling through the way that I hope it will. Again, decent amount of romance on the list for this month. Not terrible because it is the last month of summer, but, you know, I want another fantasy, hopefully, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Last book. Alright, and the final prompt is a book with a season in the title. Alright, well, you know, I feel like at that point it's going to need to be summer because that makes the most sense. So we'll find one that says summer. And the last book on the TBR, because I thought I had more prompts or more books that said summer in them, but I didn't actually. So we have one option, and that's going to be Summer People. This was an indie book that I got as part of like a book retreat, and it's set in Maine, and it's following this woman that moves there next to this really grumpy neighbor, and he doesn't want her there. He thinks that she's part of just like the summer crowd, these summer people that show up as part of the vacationers. They make things worse, and then they all leave in droves, and the town is the way that he wants it to be. He doesn't realize that she is actually now there to stay, and his niece, Sutton, likes the new neighbor more than her uncle would like her to. It says, maybe I'm destined to be nothing more than summer people. Obviously, I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm sure that she ends up staying there, but we'll see how that ends up coming to fruition. So, yet another romance. But again, it's summer, so I feel like that fits the vibe. And we have a lot on here that I have actually not necessarily been avoiding, but like I am not going out of my way to pick them, which is why I like doing the prompt jar. I feel like it gets you to pick those books that you picked up for some reason, or maybe somebody gifted them to you and you just now don't have like the urge to run to them like you used to, and that's fantastic. So let's go over the list one more time just as a quick recap. For my classic, we have Les Mis. My Mary Higgins Clark is Death Wears a Beauty Mask and Other Stories. My Agatha Christie is Double Sin and Other Stories. My book club pick for the month is In the Veins of the Drowning, which I'm so excited for. This, I think if any of these are going to be a 5-star, it's going to be this one. And yeah, we'll see. For a book that most people seem to hate, we have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Please let me know if that's accurate or not. Then for a number generator picks, we have Vicious by L.J. Shen. For a book with a number in the title, we have 9 Liars. For a book that I got from a little free library, we have Not the Girl You Marry. A book that's available on Kindle Unlimited, we have City of Gods and Monsters. And then a book with a season in the title is going to be Summer People. So nice stacked TBR for the month. We have some that are a little bit shorter. I think the longest one is definitely going to be City of Gods and Monsters, so it'll be nice to have some of these small romance books to kind of break up that intense one, and then Les Mis and all of those. So I have high hopes for the month. We'll see if I can finish all of these. If you already picked your TBR for August, let me know the book that you are most excited to read. I hope that it's going to be a 5-star for you guys, like I hope some of these are going to be 5 stars for me. So thank you for watching this video if you've made it this far, and I will hopefully see you in another one very soon. Bye.